Hello and welcome to this special program to celebrate the anniversary of the adoption of the National Action Charter in the Kingdom of Bahrain. And we celebrate this year with the theme of Charter of Gold. Since its early years, Bahrain has adopted democracy and has been an integral part of the policies of its successive rulers for decades. The establishment of the Shura Council in the 1930s of the last century was the first democratic experience in Bahrain under the reign of the late Sheikh Isa bin Ali Al Khalifa, which was an important stage of the history of Bahrain. We start our special coverage with an outstanding guest who was hands-on in drafting the National Action Charter and bringing it to life. We go for a short break and then come back to discuss how such a unique document was put together. Welcome back. Deeply interested in the involvement and partnership of citizens in the decision-making process, and out of a true belief in the importance of democracy, His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa launched the ambitious reforming project accompanied with the National Action Charter, which reflected his vision for the democratization and parliamentary process in the country. The National Action Charter, the special political and social document that paved the way for profound changes in the Kingdom of Bahrain, was approved by 98.4% of the people of Bahrain and was a great step towards modernization and development that covered human, political, religious, and social aspects. After the National Action Charter's ratification, the National Assembly was formed, consisting of two chambers, the Shura Council and the Council of Representatives, which work in harmony and high coordination. With its 40 appointed members, the Shura Council has played a remarkable role over the years in terms of creating a functioning and healthy democratic environment and mature political action in the kingdom. To know more about the history of the National Action Charter and the Shura Council structure, as well as its local and international roles, we would like to welcome the Shura Council's first Deputy Chairman, Mr. Jamal Fakhro. Thank you very much for being with us today. Mr. Jamal, first of, I'd like to say that on November 22nd of the year 2000, His Majesty the King called for the formation of the SNC, or the Supreme National Committee, to draft the National Action Charter. And the following day, he discussed with his 44 members the high significance of this historic mission. The committee convened for the first time on December 4th for about 3 weeks, and some of Bahrain's brightest minds worked together to put together this remarkable document. Being a member with great contribution to such a democratic process, tell us more about the experience and how it paved the way towards today's political prosperity.
Yeah, and as you said, the move of the formation of the committee was a great move for the history of Bahrain. Yeah. Before taking the leadership of Bahrain by His Majesty, as you know, Bahrain was ruled by emergency laws, and we have emergency courts, and applying or playing politics was prohibited. We didn't have any political societies, we have no democracy, we have no parliament, and so on and so on. So really moving from all that, I always say we have been in a very deep hole in Bahrain, and that move really hooked us up immediately out of that hole safely. Yes. It was a wise decision. It was a great decision for the Bahraini people, and you can see from the participation of the Bahrainis in the referendum. Yes. And when they voted, it shows how the Bahrainis were hungry and in need of such a change. Yes. The committee, as you said, it was consist of 44. Few members were added at a later stage, and to be frank with you, none of us knew how long this committee will work for. Yes. At the beginning, we thought it could last a few months. Yeah. But with the push of His Majesty, with the cooperation of the members, with the understanding of the importance of time, we were working almost every day,
Yes, yes.
either as a committee meeting or as individuals who used to meet together to look into what we used to call a draft national charter.
Yes.
And it was great discussions. It was great open discussions. And we used the statements and words then were prohibited to be said in public.
Yes.
At that time.
Yeah.
When we used to call to free the prisoners, to allow those who are living in exile to come to Bahrain, to abandon the emergency law, and so these words then were prohibited.
Yeah.
But His Majesty gave clear order to the government representative that it has to be an open and frank discussion.
Yes.
And I can tell you that it was really, really a great testimony of the beginning of democracy.
Yes.
Every single person was allowed to speak from his heart, from his mind. We were not asked to not to speak on any subject. The sky was the limit for us to discuss. And if you go back to the minutes of the meetings, okay, it is unfortunate these meetings were not televised, but the minutes are available. They are published. If you go to the minute, you will discover how the discussions were open and honest.
Yeah.
And every single person, his eye, his heart was focused on Bahrain. Yeah. So it was a great discussion. And I think we came up with a document which will last for decades.
Yes.
And we see that today in every single statement by His Majesty, by His Royal Highness the Prime Minister, by the Crown Prince, by even the politicians in Bahrain, they always refer to the National Charter at the beginning.
Yes.
That document was the real change of our Bahrain life.
Yes.
So I think it was a great move. It was a great document, very well written. Has helped us really to take us from where we are to where we are today, to where we were to where we are today. And I believe people should learn of what we have done here in Bahrain. The relationship between the leadership and the people was fragile.
Yes.
And the way it is cemented today, it would not really have happened if we didn't have the National Charter.
Yes.
It has all the principles, all the great principles, which will comply with the international laws, international conventions, when you talk about human rights, about democracy, about rights of women to vote, about the overseeing of the spending of the government, the national audit court establishment, the constitution court. I mean, I think we have introduced a document that will be ideal for any country that want to start a reform should really look into our document. Yes. We are not the best, but I think we are among the best.
Yes. Well, on this point, I'd also like to ask you about your personal experience going into this. I mean, we're talking about a document where the members, such as yourself, were listening to what the people wanted for their future, as well as bringing the vision of His Majesty the King into this. So how was it going into such a massive piece of work? I mean, as you said, you thought it's going to take months, but you all did at some point get to a consensus, and it took a shorter time, and 98.4% of the people authorized and approved it and voted for it. So how was it going into it?
So I'll tell you one thing. First of all, I think the members in that committee were handpicked by His Majesty.
Yeah.
I can tell you. Most of them, if not all of them, have been either deeply exposed and related into politics, or a few of them have some important posts within the government, within the civil societies, and in their history they have played politics and so on.
Yeah.
So the people there, I think have helped this discussion to be fruitful. We have a few of the members who decided to withdraw from the committee. Okay, that was their right, and His Majesty didn't accept their withdrawal, and he said, I have selected them. If they want to attend, let them attend. If they don't want to attend, it is their right.
Yeah.
Okay, and from my personal experience, we have formed a small group of 6 people.
Yes.
And we used to meet every other day. We look into the draft proposed, and we put our own thoughts on that draft. We know which chapter will be discussed and what is needed to be changed and so on. And I can tell you, our group, I think we were the most effective. Well, the others are effective, but the most effective group, the others individuals.
Understood.
And we use really to prepare well, even who will deliver our speech, who will represent us, and who will add on to it. And we used to go there to the meeting with a full written document, which I can remember, I can recall the late His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Khalid used to appraise us, to say, guys, if anybody wants to come up with any changes, please do it as X or Y or Z. Our members of the group have drafted it. So we used to work hard. Others used to work hard. Others used to come as individuals, well prepared. But as I said, we used to have a nice group of us, 6 of us. We used to meet every other day, prepare ourselves, and therefore I think we were able to finish the document in 3 weeks.
Yes.
Because everybody was committed, everybody was excited. Really, we did not believe that we are today in Bahrain, that we can discuss such a subject.
And such
so it was fantastic. It was really a fantastic change of the history of Bahrain.
And also such a great responsibility on you, on the committees. Well, you are the first deputy of the Shura Councils, and the Shura Councils committees are the pillars of the legislative work. What can you tell us about the committees and how their performance is integrated in order to basically unify the goals?
Let me tell you one thing. I mean, the committee are the pillars and the backbone of the Shura and of any legislative body.
Yes.
We don't discuss in large and in details the laws at the general meeting. We discuss the reports. So all depends on the quality of the work of the committee, the discussions will be. So if the committee does its work properly, appropriately, they do lots of homework, they bring lots of comparisons with other laws, they come up with a clear amendment, changes, approval or disapproval, whatever it is. If they come up with a document that could convince us, our session will be short and sweet.
Yes.
If they don't do their homework properly, it will have an impact on the length and time takes us to approve any single law. We could easily send it back to the committee to look at it, to amend it, and it comes again and goes back again to the committee. So really the backbone of our work and even the House of Representatives work is the committees. We have, as you know, 8 committees. Those committees consist of between 7 and 8 members. They meet whenever they have to meet. The reports are issued to us with all the supporting documents, and we have all the freedom to discuss them.
Yes.
We don't go to the meeting on a white plain paper.
Yes.
We go to the meeting with a thick report, comes from the committee, reflects the efforts they have been doing.
Yes.
And this happens all over the world.
Yes.
I mean, if you happen to look into the meetings of the British Parliament or the Congress, you will see the room is empty. And you will see how come the room are empty, and they come up with these great or difficult whatever laws and so on. Everything done in the kitchen. When you go to eat, you don't know what had happened in the kitchen. So the kitchen of the Parliament is those committees. And I'm glad to say, really, we have got a great team at the Shura Council, from the members themselves or the supporting team, who are helping us to take the right decisions.
Yes. And as you said, of course, these committees do meet with each other, and there's a great transparency to the work that is done within the committees. There are a lot of different committees known, as you said, there are 8 of them, but some examples would be the Defense Committee. We also have the Palestinian Cause Committee.
The Palestinian Committee that is in the House of Representatives.
Yeah, in the House of the Representatives. But all of these discuss, basically the Shura members discuss these things within the committees. Well, after 26 years of being a vital member of the legislative party in the kingdom, and after being the youngest member among the 30 selected figures in 1992, tell us more about that rich experience, and how do you value the constant progress witnessed by the legislative work since that year until today, and what are the indications that you might say are indications of success?
Well, let me tell you one thing. I mean, when I was first asked to be member of the Shura Council, it was for me a great pleasure. It was for me a great honor. And as you know, the Shura Council until 2001 was a consultative body.
Yeah.
So we used to report, we put our recommendations and we send the reports to the cabinet. We were not as a legislative body as we are today.
Yeah.
It was a great experience for me as a young Bahraini who have, you know, I came to Bahrain with a good experience in public matters because of our education. I studied in Cairo, and we have a great movement of the Bahrain Students Union.
Yes.
That helped us a lot to really build us as people who should take care of their country, participate in general matters, be responsible, and be able to speak up and to talk, to think differently, and so on and so forth. So really, that life in Cairo helped me a lot to be a different person. And coming back to Bahrain, still I participate in a number of civil societies in Bahrain. I was a bit active then, young and so on, and until I was appointed, it was great to sit with senior members of the community, whether they are ministers or whether they are merchants, businessmen, bankers, lawyers, and being the youngest of them. So it was important for me to learn.
Yeah.
And you know, like an empty sponge. When you have an empty sponge and you put the water in it, it will pull the water. I was exactly like that.
Yeah.
And I started to really fill my body with the knowledge, with the information. And or it depends on you, either to be a lazy or to be hardworking.
Yes.
I decided to be hardworking. I used to go well prepared to the meeting. I used to go to read and so on, and I used to follow what happens even in parliaments in the region, outside and so on. That helped me a lot to give me, I would say, a character in the Shura Council, that I do participate.
Yes.
I do speak up, and so on. My work and my business helped me a lot to participate in the financial and economical matter, which was an issue, an important issue for the council then.
Yes.
And with the grace of God, with the confidence of the leaders in Bahrain, His Majesty the King, His Highness late Sheikh Isa,
Yes.
His Royal Highness the Prime Minister, I have been given this privilege to stay at the Shura Council, which was whether it was the consultative or now the legislative, for the last 26, 27 years.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it.
Yes.
I enjoy it. I mean, when you feel you can give something back to your country, this is the maximum thing. This is the maximum privilege and the maximum happiness you can face in your life. People should not always ask and take only.
Yes.
It's always give and take.
Yes.
And I think I have taken enough from this country. It is time for me to give back.
Yes, all of us. So, and as we mentioned, the committees that have been formed in the Shura Council, as well as the Representative Council, and now the Representative Council and the Shura Council working together in order to promote a lot of, or to go through with a lot of the laws of Bahrain. Do you see these as indicators of success, or what do you see as indicators of success?
See, I mean, we first of all, we need to realize and accept that legislative body, the success of it is the success of both chambers.
Yes.
We are not competitors. We cannot work against each other.
Yes.
We have to work as a team.
Yeah.
And both of us, according to the Bahrain Constitution, both of us represent the Bahrain people.
Yes.
40 were elected, 40 were appointed, but the 80 combined, which form the National Assembly, we are the representative of the people of Bahrain.
Yes.
So we have to work towards that goal, and you cannot achieve that goal unless we work as one team.
Yes.
It's great to have different of opinion. It's great to have different of view. It's great that we come to different conclusions and decisions. But at the end of the day, one of us have to compromise.
Yes. Understood.
If we want the best for the country, one of us have to compromise. On certain issues, no way either them or us can compromise, and therefore we reached a deadlock.
Yes.
And these normally are very small or minor things.
Yeah.
But in the majority of laws and legislation, we do compromise, we come to a conclusion, and we issue the law, and whoever wants to change the law, he have the full right to change it from the next day after issuing it. So we say, rather than really holding the law, keeping it outside, keeping it in the drawers and so on, let's finish it, let's work on it, agree on a middle line,
Yeah.
and then if we want to change it, we do change it.
Yes.
And to be frank with you, once we issue it, hardly we change anything of it, because we believe what we have achieved is reasonable.
Yes. Usually the changes come as like additions or omissions of certain things in it. But as you said, usually it's a joint disciplinary teamwork where you guys put these issues on paper and then ratify the laws that come out with it. Well, we're going to take a little break and we'll get back to the discussions after that.
حبنا يا حمد حبنا لكم غالي ويبين قدركم عالي وتعدى كل بنا فوق هامة الجبال الصامدين فوق هامة الجبال الصامدين لك جزيل الشكر صافي حبنا يا حمد حبنا لكم غالي ويبين قدركم عالي وتعدى كل بنا فوق هامة الجبال الصامدين فوق هامة الجبال الصامدين لك جزيل الشكر لك جزيل الشكر لك جزيل الشكر صافي حبنا لكن نضحي بالعمر وارواحنا من قبل الاجداد واليوم البنين قايد للخير حقق حلمنا كلنا وياك في شده ولين كلنا وياك في شده ولين لكن نضحي بالعمر وارواحنا من قبل الاجداد واليوم البنين قايد للخير حقق حلمنا كلنا وياك في شدة ولين كلنا وياك في شدة ولين لك جزيل الشكر وصافي حبنا يا حمد حبنا لكم غالي ويبين قدركم عالي وتعدى كل منا يا حمد صامدين. يا حمدنا لك عهود مننا، في غلاكم ما تبدلنا السنين، يا عساك بخير وبعز وهنا، وللوطن دايم عساكم سالمين. الوطن دايم عساكم سالمين. يا حمدنا لك عهود مننا، في غلاكم ما تبدلنا السنين، يا عساك بخير وبعز وهنا، وللوطن دايم عساكم سالمين. الوطن دايم عساكم سالمين. يا حمد لك جزيل الشكر وصافي حبنا، يا حمد حبنا لكم غالي ويبي.
Welcome back to the studio where we have a special episode about the National Action Charter where we celebrate the Charter of Gold. Thank you very much, Mr. Jamal, for being with us again. And I want to go to a different area when it comes to the questions. You did mention before the difference between the Bahrain Shura Council and Representatives Council and so on, and those of them abroad. So compared to the regional and international counterparts, how do you value the current representation of Bahraini women in the National Assembly?
Well, let me tell you one thing. We always, in Bahrain, unfortunately underestimate our achievements.
Yes.
And when it comes to women's participation, I think we have achieved a lot, and we should be proud of that.
Yes.
The ladies and women of Bahrain, since the early 50s, they started to look into bringing women to be really major force and participate equally like the men in the life of Bahrain.
Yes.
Whether it is economical, whether it is political, whether it is social, just name it. I mean, and this goes back to the reality that education in Bahrain started in a very early stage, 1928, when we had the first girls' school in Bahrain.
Yes.
It also goes back with the mentality and the thinking of our grandparents, or fathers and grandfathers, who really came up with an open mind.
Yes.
Allowing the women of Bahrain, the girls, to go to school, number one, and then to go to universities, number two. So all of that have helped us to achieve where we are today.
Yes.
The percentage of women at Shura Council has always been around between 20 to 25%. At one stage, we were 27.5. Okay. Today, it is a norm, even in countries such as countries in Europe and the United States, I mean, in Asia, name them. Some of those countries don't achieve a double-digit figure.
Yes. True.
And if they are a double digit, they are in the lower double digit rather than the higher double digit. So the number of ladies we have at the Shura Council is great. Today we are 22.5%. Hopefully one day we will see them to be 50%.
Yes.
And I can tell you the participation of women in the Shura Council is second to none.
Yes.
They take things seriously. They are very hardworking. I have the privilege and the pleasure to travel with a few of them to attend conferences outside.
Yes.
And I can tell you, we start at 8 and we finish at 6 in the evening, and they are still willing to stay longer to participate in those committees.
Yes.
They are hardworking. They are great ladies. As I said, they reflect really the Bahrain community.
Yes.
And last month we had the lady president of the International Parliamentary Union.
Yes.
And wherever she was, when she was talking to His Majesty the King or to Her Royal Highness Sheikh Hassabicha, she was praising the ladies of Bahrain.
Of course.
And she was always saying that I see them in the IPU very active, more active than I expected from any other modern country.
Yes.
So we had a great number, great team, very committed. And the win of the ladies at the House of Representatives reflect today where our Bahraini committee thinks about the role of women.
Yes.
Today in the recent election we had 10 ladies won, 6 at the parliament, 4 at the municipal councils. That's a great number.
Yes.
You know?
Of course.
When you talk about 6 out of 40, which is 15%, it's not a low number.
No, it's
You know?
not.
We have a chart. We have the chart on one of the walls in the Shura Council building, and you will see. And in that chart, you will see countries whom you expect women's participation to be in their 20s and 30s. They are really in one digit.
Yes. Yes.
And I think it is important today to say that our women have reached a stage where they have been empowered, and now we have really to work hard to talk about equalization.
Yes. Yes.
This is the real move that we should really. Now we should not talk about empowerment of women. They have been empowered, they have been doing great job, the community have helped them, and I think we should now work a move to say what we need to do to really have equalization as the name of the game.
True. I had the pleasure of interviewing President Gabriela Cuevas Barón, and during her speech, as you said, she really emphasized on the point that women have so much responsibility and they have a very high status when it comes to Bahrain. When in reality it is, yes, they do have it, but it's a norm in Bahrain. In Bahrain, it is normal for women to have that position, for women to be that hardworking, to be given those responsibilities, because over decades they have proven themselves over and over again. And of course, the foundation of the STW contributed a lot also to the empowerment of this of women. How do you see the contribution of the Supreme Council of Women when it comes to supporting women's power in Bahrain and in their work?
I think when the Supreme Council was formed, I think in 2002, it really gave a great focus to the role of women in Bahrain. As I said, over the years, since the 50s, until today, the Bahrain Women Society, the civil societies, have done a great job. It is important to have the seniority of Her Royal Highness Sheikh Hassabicha to be on top of the role of women development in Bahrain. Will give it more credibility, will give it more enforcement, and really had given it a big focus, not in our local community, but in the globe and large.
Correct.
But let me go back to what Gabriela told you. I mean, you don't know that 5 years ago, one of our members, our colleague Jamila Salman, she and Gabriel put a joint document at the IPU on the protection of child.
Yes.
Okay. And that document was well received, and I can recall Gabriel was not able to come to the session, and Jamil had to do the presentation, and it was a fantastic show for Bahrain. You know, it came at the last minute, but you know, Jamila was ready. We were helping her, supporting her, and so on. And it was great to see a Bahraini lady standing on the podium up there, answering questions from more than 200 to 300 members, parliamentarians, on that document. So we knew her since then, and she knows. She always say that I never knew that the people in the Arab countries are as effective as this. So really, with her, we gave her a fantastic showcase on how the Bahraini woman would do. When she came to Bahrain, she have met with all the parliamentarians and the members of Shura, and she was impressed. The quality of people we have, the way they speak, the way they present themselves. And she clearly says, Jamal, I mean, we should learn from what happens here in Bahrain, rather really that you come to learn from us.
Yes.
So, I mean, as I said, unfortunately we are unfair with ourselves.
Sure.
And I'll go back to one point on the role of women.
Yeah.
And I always say, we are also unfair with the women of Bahrain. We ask them to go to work, to help us in building our houses, and help us economically and so on. At the same time, we put all the responsibility of growing our kids, taking care of them, taking care of the house on them.
Expectation.
We as gentlemen, we don't share that responsibility, which is unfortunate. Men work from whatever 7 till 2, the ladies will work from 7 till 2. Men could not have more responsibility after that, but we ask our ladies to look after the kids, after the house, after whatever it is. So really they are doing great job. They are doing two jobs at the same time.
Yeah.
And therefore I always say we need to look into equalization.
Yes.
What sort of responsibilities the men should take off the back of the woman, which are today on their back, on their hand.
Yes.
We need to look into what happens in modern countries. I mean, today in North Europe, in Sweden, whatever it is, they have some laws which are really, I mean, let's take child care.
Yes.
If the mother cannot take a child care, she cannot take a leave, they will give the leave to the father.
Yes.
To take care of that. We need to reach to that level of modernization. We need to reach to that level of equalization.
Yeah.
I think we are on the right track. It will take us some time.
Yeah.
But we need to educate our people here in Bahrain from the schools days, from the universities, that equalization is the name of the game.
Yes. As you said, it's something that has already come up in Bahrain very much. We even see that in the change of policies when it comes to work, where paternity leave is actually an option also in Bahrain in some companies and so on. So it is on the roll now. Well, in forming its role, the Shura Council also collaborated with several institutions. We mentioned the IPU as one of them. How do you value these cooperations? How does it contribute positively to achieving the aspired goals that you have?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, Bahrain is a member of the United Nations. Bahrain is a member of the Arab League. Bahrain is a member of the GCC Council. We have our local, regional, and the global responsibilities, and we have to be active wherever we are.
Yeah.
When we go to participate in any conference, we should be well prepared. We should participate in the discussions. We should really lead some of the discussions. We sit on the committees, not only to represent Bahrain, but only to help the world to achieve its goals.
Yes.
I'll take it back to IPU. At one stage, we have been sitting on 5 of the committees in IPU,
Yes.
out of the 10 different committees they have.
Yeah.
Okay, why? Maybe because of the unfortunate dismissals of couple of House Representatives during the Arab Spring time and so on.
Yeah.
But we did a great job.
Yes.
Okay, people today knows us at IPU. They know the Bahraini team more than they know the teams of other Arab big countries.
Yes.
Because we have been participating, we have been active, and so on. Last night I came back from Cairo. We were discussing the removal of the sanctions on Sudan. Again, we participated in that meeting with the other Arab countries.
Yes.
Number of our colleagues who sits on whether it's on the Asian Parliament, on the Islamic Parliament, on the Arab Parliament, on the Arab IPU Union, all of them are very active, and we have to be active.
Yeah.
It is our nature in Bahrain.
Yes.
It is really our nature, and I can tell you wherever we go, we add value,
Yes.
and therefore we are respected.
Yes.
Therefore they see us that when we come to a meeting, we are well prepared. We add value to that.
Yes.
I think it is important again to use this opportunity to represent Bahrain well.
Yes.
It is just unfortunate, really unfortunate, that we had lots of negative media. Unfortunately, we didn't handle that matter well. We as individuals, as government, as a state, we could have done much more better. We should make use of all these meetings, use the parliamentary diplomacy, and really represent our country well.
Yes.
We have great stories to tell.
Yes.
Believe me, we have, I mean, when we sit in committees on IPU and we listen to where the countries are and where we are today, we are decades ahead of them.
Yes.
When you listen to African countries, when you listen to South American countries, even some European countries, in certain matters, we are way ahead of them.
Yeah.
And we should be proud of that, and we should go and share our knowledge with them. We always believe that when we go, we say we will go to learn. Yes, we can learn, but also we can teach.
Yes.
Believe me, the stories we have here in Bahrain, if we tell them appropriately at the right time, at the right place, people would benefit a lot.
Yes.
Sometimes we are shy, don't participate, don't share, whatever it is. But I think over the years we have a fantastic team, we have fantastic people today who travel out of Bahrain, whether it is with the Shura Council, with our representative, with our societies, and we add value there.
Yes, yes. I'm just going to bring it out to see if you agree with this. Bahrain's geographical location, Bahrain's history when it comes to coexistence and the people that have lived on its ground. Bahrain's experience when it comes to the economic development of the GCC countries, not just Bahrain in particular, but the GCC countries, it being this business hub where people come and over. All of these added to the experience of the people representing Bahrain outside, because these are actual facts that are on the grounds of Bahrain. Do you see these as successes when it comes to implementing the National Action Charter, to implementing what the Shura Council is about and so on? This is the knowledge that you take with you to the outside. Is that true?
You know, you take with you all the knowledge you have gathered in your history.
Yeah.
And I will tell you one thing, I'm a great believer in education.
Yeah.
The people of Bahrain had the opportunity to receive a great education.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, since 1991, when we started our first official school, until today we are celebrating 100 years. 100 years of education is not a joke. The Bahrainis love knowledge.
Yeah.
They love to be trained.
Yeah.
I can tell you, the minute you offer to any single Bahrain, wherever he is, a further education or a further training, he will be there.
Yeah. True.
That is the nature of Bahrainis.
Yes.
You know. Beside that, we have a fantastic liberal community.
Yes.
And that is the difference. That community makes the difference between us and our closest neighbors.
Yeah.
Even the GCC. When people come in to Bahrain and they visit the region, we hear from them statements that really make us shy, because simply they praise us up to the sky.
Of course.
So we have fantastic people, we have fantastic community. What we need to do is to protect it and prevent those people who want to damage our community, who want to push us back, to stop them, because really we should not allow them to pull us back.
Yes.
We have built this community, our great grandfathers, our parents, our families, the Bahrain community built this community, which made it a fantastic community. We should not allow anybody from within Bahrain or outside Bahrain to damage us.
Yeah.
And we will continue to do that. And this is great. This is a great fight. A fight for the best.
Yes.
We will fight with these guys. We'll fight with those communities, with those people within Bahrain, outside Bahrain, who wants to pull us down.
Yeah.
We'll not allow them. I can tell you, because we are highly educated people.
Yes.
So therefore I'm saying education for me is very close to my heart, and I think we need to focus on that.
Yes.
The amount of knowledge I learned when I went to Cairo to study helps me until today in the way I run my business or the way I live.
Yes.
Simply because we went out at a very early stages, We learned from countries who then used to be leaders in this part of the world, like other friends who have been going to Europe, to the States, to Asia, to whatever else. We are an open community. We are willing to change. We are willing to absorb knowledge, and we are willing to listen from others.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Today, to be frank with you, I mean, when you look to our businesses, we have lots of foreigners here.
Yeah.
We love them.
And
We
they
want-
love Bahrain.
And they love Bahrain.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, those who came into Bahrain know where they want to go back.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
average of expats living in Bahrain goes for, I would say, a decade or more.
Yeah.
You know, and they want to stay here.
I know people who are retiring here.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So as I said, it is the way we have been brought up. It is the way we have protected our community, and inshallah, we'll continue to do that.
Yes, perfect. Well, before we get to the end of it, of the show, I really want to know, how do you, the international outreach activities and the effective cooperation and regional and global Shura councils and democratic institutions are pillars of the council's work. And we've seen a lot over the years, a lot of visits that came from other Shura councils from the GCC region over here to Bahrain. The Shura Council went to them, and we're also the parliamentary councils from Indonesia were here and so on. We see this international exchange of information. So how do you value that?
It is one of the most important activities that both Shura Council and House of Representatives should do.
Yeah.
The more meetings we do with our counterparts from other countries, the better for the country. You would need a global cooperation. And you only do global cooperation by meeting people, discuss with them, agree with them, mutual understanding. Even if you have misunderstanding, make it clear through discussions. They will respect you, they will listen to you, and they must change to accept your argument.
True.
So the more we meet with people, the better and the stronger relationship will build. I mean, today, if you have got, let's say, a subject to be discussed about Bahrain,
Yeah.
okay, unless you have got friends with you in that community and that union and that meeting, you could be a loser.
Yes.
If you don't build a strong case with them, if you don't build a strong relationship with them, which is based on convincing, on information, on truth, on reality, you can't guarantee that they will support you.
Yes.
You should really be open and frank with them. I always say, for people to see is much more effective than for people to listen.
Yes.
We can go to the European Parliament and talk to them, you know, and unless they come to Bahrain and see what do we have here, and they see what services we provide to our people, to our community, and so on, they will always believe that what we tell them is unrealistic story.
Yes.
Or we are decorating what we say, or we are putting a makeup on what we say.
Yeah.
People, when they come to Bahrain, I can tell you they change their mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as I said, we should not underestimate what we are doing. You know, I always tell my guys, when you have visitors, take them to the University of Bahrain. Let them see the quality of the school we have.
Yes.
Let them meet with the students. Take them to the hospitals of Bahrain, the quality of a free medication they have.
Yes.
Take them to the house, to Hamad Town, and show them the quality of the social houses we have.
Yeah.
You know, we have take them to the Human Rights Committee. Let them meet with the civil society.
Sure.
This is the thing which we don't do well.
Yes.
We don't do well. We try to do. Unfortunately, we don't do well.
Yeah.
Therefore, when I say, when we go out, we talk to people, they would listen to us. But let them come to Bahrain. Let them see what we are doing. Let them live our life.
Yes.
We are very hospitable people,
Yes.
and we have to reflect that when our guests come here.
And
So
what?
it is important, really, to spend more time with the parliamentarians,
Yes.
with our counterparts of Shura councils all over the world, because one day you would need them.
Yes. also, and vice versa. And everything that is being done at that point is to protect the sovereignty of Bahrain and the area.
They will respect you.
Of course.
The minute you go and to talk about your country and defend your country, they will respect you.
True.
Because they themselves will not allow us to talk about their countries negatively.
Yes. And I always, when we read the news or here at the Ministry of Information, we always have a key factor that we always mention: how much His Majesty the King puts this profound emphasis on how the people of Bahrain's loyalty contributes so much to the safety of the area and the safety of Bahrain itself.
I'll tell you one thing: just give the Bahraini the chance to speak up freely, with no fear, and put the trust and faith in him. Believe me, he will represent the country second to none.
Yes, perfect. We've gotten to the end of our show. Is there anything that you would like to add before we end?
Just to thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jamal bin Mohammed Fakhro, for being with us. And that's all for today. We would also like to thank you for being with us, and tune in tomorrow for another episode of this special coverage of the anniversary of the National Action Charter.